Imagine you're at a party. You you take a deep breath, walk up to a group of people, and deliver the exact phrase you've studied in your English textbook for months.
Oh boy.
Right. You walk up and say, "Hello, my name is," and instantly the conversation just stalls.
Yeah, it completely dies.
You've hit a brick wall. So, welcome to the Clear English channel. If you're listening to this, you are likely trying to bridge that really frustrating gap between textbook English and actual, confident, real-world fluency.
Which is so common, by the way.
It is. And the goal here is simple, to make learning English clear, effective, and free of those robotic phrases that are just holding you back.
Yeah, absolutely.
So today we're doing a deep dive into this really fascinating guide titled Mastering Natural Introductions. And we're going to dissect why the very first thing you were taught in English class might actually be sabotaging your first impressions.
It's such a fascinating problem because it happens literally every single day. A learner walks into a room, speaks the phrase they spent, hours memorizing, and immediately senses that the social temperature in the room has just dropped.
Right, you can feel the awkwardness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the most frustrating part for the learner is that they haven't made a technical mistake.
Right.
They haven't used the wrong verb tense. They haven't mispronounced a syllable. What they've done is make a pragmatic error.
Hold on, I want to pause on that term for a second. Pragmatic error. Because I'm not sure I fully grasp the distinction there.
Oh.
Like, I know what a grammar mistake is. If I use the wrong tense, the math of the sentence is just wrong. But what exactly does pragmatics mean in this context?
Okay, so think of syntax and grammar as the math of a language.
Yep.
It's the structural foundation.
Okay.
Right? So a sentence like, "Hello, my name is Ahmed," is mathematically perfect. It has a subject, a verb, a possessive adjective, all in the correct order.
It checks all the textbook boxes.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But pragmatics, on the other hand, is the music of the language.
Oh, I like that. The music.
Yeah. It's how words are actually used in social reality.
Yeah.
You have to take into account the context, the relationship between the speakers, and all those unwritten social codes.
Right.
You can play a series of mathematically correct notes, but if you play them with the wrong rhythm or, with the wrong volume for the venue you're in,
It doesn't sound like music.
nope, it just sounds like noise.
Wow. So textbooks teach the math, but they completely ignore the music.
Precisely. Textbooks prioritize structural rules because, they're easy to test on a piece of paper, right?
Yeah, you can grade a grammar test.
Right. But language is fundamentally about human connection. It's not just swapping out nouns and verbs. So when you walk up to someone in a casual setting and say, "Hello, my name is," you're immediately creating a social barrier.
Yeah, the source material notes that it makes the speaker sound like a robot reading from a script.
It does. Or what was the other comparison?
Oh, the guide gave this great example that it sounds like you're in a police interrogation.
Yes.
Like, state your name for the record.
Exactly. It's an announcement of data, not an invitation to connect. A phrase like, "my name is a declaration.
It's so stiff.
It completely lacks warmth. And when you hand someone a rigid piece of information like that, it halts the conversational flow.
Because it doesn't give them anything to work with.
Right. It doesn't give the other person a natural jumping off point
Yeah.
to respond in a relaxed way.
It's just a one-way transaction. And if you declare your data, the listener instinctively feels, forced into a passive role.
Totally.
So knowing that this robotic data declaration approach is failing us, we really have to look at what native speakers actually do. And the
Yeah.
guide points out that the fix is almost shockingly simple, but it completely changes the dynamic of the introduction.
It really does. The shift is profound, honestly. It's
Yeah.
all about moving from a statement of possession, "my name is," to a statement of being. So for casual settings, like social events, parties, or maybe meeting a friend of a friend, the fix is to simply use "I am," or even better, the contraction "I'm."
Yeah, the guide gives a really clear side-by-side comparison here. The approach that halts the conversation is, "Hello, my name is Ahmed." But the native-sounding approach is simply, "Hi, I'm Ahmed," or "Hey there, I'm Ahmed."
Right. Much better.
But I have to ask, I understand that it sounds more casual, but why does dropping one or two short words make such a massive difference psychologically?
Well, it comes down to the physical mechanism of speech and what that signals to the listener's nervous system.
Wait, really? The nervous system?
Yeah. Contractions like "I'm" are essentially the heartbeat of natural spoken English. Think about it. When you say "I am," you have to articulate two distinct vowel sounds.
I am. Yeah, it takes a beat.
Right, which requires a bit more effort and breath control.
Yeah.
But when you use the contraction I'm, the speech is fluid. It requires less physical effort.
Okay, I see where you're going.
And subconsciously, when we hear someone speaking fluidly and with less effort, it signals to our brain that their nervous system is relaxed.
Oh, wow. Because if they were stressed or like overly formal, their vocal cords would be tighter and they'd over enunciate everything.
Exactly. And when you demonstrate that you're relaxed through a contraction, it actually triggers mirror neurons in the person you're speaking to.
So it causes their defenses to lower.
Yes. You're signaling that you understand the casual rhythm of the environment, which instantly makes the other person feel comfortable around you.
That physical breakdown makes total sense. You're literally breathing easier, so they breathe easier.
Exactly.
But the guide also points out a critical follow-up step. Like, you can't just walk up, say, hi, I'm Ahmed, and then just stand there in silence waiting for a reaction.
No, please don't do that. The name alone is never enough to build a connection. The guide is very explicit about this. You must always add a polite closer. You have to toss the conversational ball back to the other person. If you just state your identity and stop, the interaction is still incomplete.
So, like adding, nice to meet you, or great to meet you.
Yes. Hi, I'm Ahmed. Nice to meet you. It provides a complete social loop.
A social loop. I like that.
Yeah, it gives your identity and immediately follows it up with a sentiment of goodwill. It gives the other person the perfect cue to catch the ball and say, nice to meet you too, I'm Sarah.
And boom, the connection is established effortlessly because you provided the rhythm for the interaction.
Exactly.
Okay, so that works perfectly at a coffee shop or like a backyard barbecue. But let me present a different scenario.
Okay, shoot.
Because listeners find themselves in all sorts of environments, right? What if you are walking into a high-stakes job interview or a really formal corporate board meeting, walking into a room with a CEO and saying, hey there, I'm Ahmed, kind of feels like a misread of the room.
Oh, absolutely. Context dictates the music, like we said earlier.
Right.
You don't want to sound like a robot, but you also don't want to sound like you're greeting your best friend at a pub when you're trying to land a job. The source material actually outlines how to navigate these professional environments beautifully.
So you have to elevate the formality while remaining natural.
Yes.
Does that mean we go back to, hello, my name is...
Never. Never. We never go back to the robot. The fundamental mechanics of connection don't change just because you're wearing a suit.
Okay, fair enough.
Instead, the formula for a formal setting adjusts just slightly to hello, I'm, followed by your first and last name. So, hello, I'm Ahmed Hassan.
Ah, okay. The addition of the last name adds a certain, I don't know, gravity to the introduction. It anchors it.
It does. It signals professionalism. And the guide also offers an excellent advanced phrase for when you want a highly polished approach.
Like when you're stepping up to a podium or something.
Yeah, or leading a meeting, addressing new colleagues. You can say, let me introduce myself. I'm Ahmed Hassan.
Oh, let me introduce myself. It has a very confident ring to it.
It really does.
It's like it politely takes control of the room. It says, I'm about to take the floor, but I'm asking for your attention respectfully.
It demonstrates a very high level of pragmatic competence. You understand the power dynamic of the room, and you're navigating it smoothly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And, just like in the casual setting, the follow-up phrase must elevate to match the formal environment, too.
So, no, nice to meet you.
Well, nice to meet you is fine, but in a formal business context, the guide suggests phrases like, it's a pleasure to meet you, or I'm excited to be joining the team.
Okay, so, hello, I'm Ahmed Hassan. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, that sounds incredibly professional.
Right.
It's entirely fluent and completely lacks any of that stiff police interrogation vibe.
It maintains the human connection while respecting the professional boundaries of the space. It really is the perfect balance.
Okay, so we have the words dialed in. We know to ditch the textbook, embrace the contraction I'm to signal a relaxed nervous system, and adapt our follow-up phrases based on the environment.
But you could deliver, hi, I'm Ahmed, with perfect grammar, perfect contractions, and the ideal follow-up phrase, and still make the other person incredibly uncomfortable if the physical delivery is off.
Oh, without a doubt.
The guide highlights a pretty surprising statistic here. The words you choose actually only make up 20% of the introduction.
It is a staggering number, isn't it? Especially for language learners who spend hundreds of hours agonizing over vocabulary and syntax.
Well, yeah,
But
totally.
the nonverbal elements carry 80% of the communicative weight. The guide refers to this as the secret sauce.
The secret sauce.
You can have the most perfectly constructed, contextually appropriate introduction. But if your physical presence contradicts your words, the introduction fails instantly.
So the source explicitly breaks down 3 physical actions that make up this 80%. And the first one is direct eye contact.
Crucial.
The guide specifically notes that you should not look at the floor. And I want to dig into this because when you're speaking a second or third language, your brain is working incredibly hard.
It's exhausting.
Right. So it's a natural physical reaction to look down or look away when you're trying to concentrate on translating a thought.
It is. And it's a well-documented phenomenon known as cognitive load.
Yeah.
Your brain is acting like a computer running a very heavy processing program.
Like it's buffering.
Exactly. You're retrieving vocabulary, checking syntax, monitoring your pronunciation. Looking away or closing your eyes slightly actually reduces the sensory input your brain has to process.
Oh, which frees up processing power for language generation. It helps you think.
Exactly.
But socially, especially in English-speaking cultures, that cognitive mechanism sends a terrible signal.
It really does.
Yeah.
While looking down helps the speaker process language, the listener interprets that lack of eye contact as a lack of confidence.
Or evasiveness.
Yes, or worse, evasiveness. It looks like you're hiding something or that you just do not want to be engaging with them at all.
So you really have to actively train yourself to maintain that eye contact, even when your brain is working overtime.
You do.
It's like think of spoken words as the data you're trying to send to another person.
Right.
And body language is the Wi-Fi connection.
Oh, I love that analogy.
If you don't establish the Wi-Fi connection first with solid eye contact, it doesn't matter how perfect your data is, it's never going to reach the other person's device.
That is the perfect way to understand it. The eye contact is the ping that says, I am ready to transmit and receive. Without it, you're literally just broadcasting into a void.
Right. And along with the eye contact, the guide emphasizes the necessity of a natural smile. Not like a giant, terrified grin, obviously, but a genuine softening of the face.
Yeah, a natural smile physically demonstrates harmlessness. It lowers the defenses of the person you're meeting. When you combine the eye contact with a natural smile, you're sending a very clear biological signal that you are a safe, approachable person to interact with.
Which leads right into the final physical element, the handshake. It is such a delicate balance. I mean, I've definitely had interactions where the person said all the right things, but they delivered this, like, bone-crushing handshake that completely ruined the vibe.
Oh, we've all been there. The handshake is a physical manifestation of a subconscious power dynamic.
Right.
A limp handshake leaves a lingering impression of weakness, disinterest, or just a lack of commitment to the interaction.
Like a dead fish.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But an aggressive handshake feels like an immediate attempt to establish dominance.
Which just creates instant friction and resentment.
Yep. So the guide emphasizes that the handshake must be firm, but not aggressive. It should be brief and always accompanied by the eye contact and the smile.
So if we look at the whole picture here, fluency isn't just about what comes out of your mouth. Fluency is a full body experience.
Completely.
It's how you inhabit the space, how you manage your cognitive load, establish the Wi-Fi connection with your eyes, and deliver the data with the right rhythm.
That's a great summary. And if there's one golden rule to take away from this entire analysis, it's this. Ditch the textbook entirely when it comes to introductions.
To throw it out.
Yes. The "hello, my name is" era is over. Default to using "I'm" followed by your name for almost every single situation. Pair that simple, natural phrase with the secret sauce, the strong eye contact, the natural smile, the firm handshake, and you will instantly sound and feel like a confident native English speaker.
It's amazing how understanding the mechanics behind these small tweaks can just completely change the trajectory of a conversation.
It really is. And, it leaves us with a pretty provocative thought to ponder.
Oh.
Yeah. We've just spent this time unpacking how the very first thing textbooks teach us about a language, how to say our own name, actually creates a stiff, unnatural barrier to human connection.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, if the very foundation of traditional language learning gets the social realities so wrong, how many other rules of language are you holding on to tightly in your mind that are actually preventing you from truly communicating?
Man, that is a powerful question. Are you memorizing the math, or are you learning how to play the music?
Exactly.
Stop reading the manual at the party, establish that connection, and just say hi. Well, if this breakdown helped you rethink how you approach English, and if you're ready to ditch the robotic textbook phrases for good, hit the like button and subscribe to the Clear English YouTube channel. Drop a comment below to let us know what frustrating language rule or topic you want us to decode next. We are here to get you clear, simple lessons that actually work in the real world. Thanks for tuning in to this deep dive. We will catch you on the next one.